Hey guys, how's it going? So we got a couple's pairs of knives coming up. This is lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, some very rich blue lapis with some good pyrite in it. The main blade is going to be this Tonto blade, and then we're going to do a smaller case knife that I've already kind of started disassembling. And we're going to do a case knife with lapis handles. So wish us luck. So what we're going to do is we're waiting for the liners, and once we get the liners, we are going to cut the liner to fit the knife handle. Then we are going to put the liners onto the stone. We're going to cut the stone to fit onto the liner, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start rounding out the face of the stone. But we also have another little surprise that we want to show you when we get there. So it will not be done once everything's polished up. We still have another cool little step to show you that I don't think you're really going to see with a lot of other knives, and it could be just because it's doomed to failure with gemstone knives and that's why people don't try it, or it could be just really cool and nobody's thought of it. So stick around. So now we got the liners for the knife. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and trace them out with our Sharpie here and try to get them to close as exact as we can. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut these out, and then once we get these cut out, then we're going to take them and file them down, and then we're going to glue the stone to the liner, and then in hopes that we can get them to fit each other exactly, and then go on this exactly. It's a new way of doing things, but I'm kind of curious to see if it works. So should be fun nevertheless. All right, so we'll get on that right now. Hey guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten out these back ends on the lapis, and then I'm going to shape these completely today. I'm going to glue the lapis onto the liners and then cut the lapis to fit the liners tomorrow before we even put them onto the knife. So that way all the polish and everything like that is done for the most part for these stones before we put them on this knife. This knife is pretty large. I'm not going to be able to fit it within my Cab King to get any real cutting done on them once they're on there. So we need to be really careful because again, it is a knife, and we also want them to fit. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. I'll show you some of the process. I won't show you all the process. And then when it comes to these here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and flatten out the backs of them. Make sure they're perfectly smooth on the back. And then we're going to shape them at top so they sit perfectly on the liner. And then, or it's perfectly go on the knife. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and get those glued on, and we'll cut those to shape to the knife. All right, so we'll see you in a little bit. Forgive the commotion, the dishwasher's going in the background. But one of the first things we're going to want to do is kind of get this taped up And I'll tell you why. Once the stone's on there, it's probably going to cover you being able to get the blade out. So I like to tape it up and then go ahead and just have it kind of stand out and leave it out until pretty much the process is done from now on. So this is going to be taped up and kind of left out until the process is done. Now, another thing we're going to do is we're going to take some good old epoxy 330 and we're going to mix that on a paper plate. Just like this right here. And we got quite a bit of stone to cover today, so I'm going to make a good bit. Go ahead and put it right there. There you go. You can see it better. Get every last bit of this epoxy 330 we can out of here, you know. And I think we just about, there we go. I think we've run these tubes dry. So now that we got our epoxy 330, we can take a toothpick. We just go stir it together. We're just gonna mix all that goodness in together. You know, just until you kind of see it get a little cloudy, a little smoky. All right, so now it's all mixed together. Looks pretty good, pretty good. All right, so now we have the gemstone handles that we put on there. Now usually I take these off, but since they're kind of like that, I can just peel them off whenever it's ready. So I ain't even worried about it right now. You know, I ain't even stressing over it. So here we go. We're going to just kind of line that up the best we can right there. We're going to take some of this epoxy 330. We just want to run it over this knife here. And if you've already been here, you already know this is what I like to call, for my wife's sake, because she loves this so much, our happy little bonding agent. So, you know, it loves to hold it together. I think, I don't remember exactly. All right, so don't quote me. I could be wrong. But I believe I heard this holds up to 2,000 pounds a square inch. So this should hold for quite a while. All right, let's see. Make sure everything's good. See, this is why we check on the back, just to make sure that it's got this whole area covered. There we go. Just making sure we're all good. And that should be it. She's sitting nice and pretty so far. Nice and pretty. All right, so now that we got it sitting there, we're just gonna put that right there. But it's sitting as good as it is. We're gonna take the other side and do the exact same thing. We're gonna take some of our happy little bonding agent. We're just gonna attach it. Now, we're gonna use, you're gonna use a lot of bonding agent doing this, all right? But that's okay. You know, it's better to have something that's gonna last than something that's gonna, you know, fall apart in somebody's hands when they're showing it off. And like I tell people, you know, these are show-off knives. These are not really knives that you want to carry out in the woods with you. I know a lot of people do because they're easy to find if they drop them and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't recommend it. You know what I mean? If I get something that I pay a lot of money for, and you know, it's a nice old pretty knife, I don't want to. I kind of want to put it up so I can show people. But I mean, it's a case knife. I mean, the blade's gonna hold up well. It's the gemstones that I'd be more worried about. You know, if I was somebody buying a knife. You know, you got some nice pretty lapis, and while it is somewhat hard, it's still brittle because it is so hard. You know, and it's a gemstone, so there's only so much of it. You know, not only that, but not only so much of it, but you may not get another piece that looks like it fits with yours, because we cut this all from one stone, you know. So it's definitely something you kind of want to keep around and not really bother too much, you know what I mean? I want to do that and that, so they kind of somewhat match, and we got plenty of room. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off, and then we're gonna slather a mighty fine helping. We have a pretty big surprise for you when it comes to this video later on, and I think you're really gonna like it. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let these dry. So we're gonna go through the entire process, and then I'm gonna show you what the surprise is. You're really never gonna see a knife like this. This is really something special. And we're gonna be doing more of them in the future. So I'm really trying to look at this, you know, gemstone knife handle stuff as an art, and what looks cool. What can I do that's cool, you know? So that's what I'm gonna do in mind from the future. I'm gonna be like, okay, what's cool? What can I do that's cool? What have people never seen before? And especially in the knife, you know, world where these scales are customized and stuff. What can I do that's gonna make this really like wow, you know? And people go wow, you know, when you show it. So, yeah. So let's see what we can get with it. But towards the end, where I'm going to start telling you what it is, and I think you're going to be really surprised with it. And we're going to do more stuff like it in the future, but we're going to kind of take a more artistic approach. Also, we're going to start doing and implementing other things like video games and stuff like that into the channel, as in, let's say you're a Warhammer 40K fan. We take a piece of Warhammer 40K jewelry, and then we inlay stones into them. You know what I mean? Things like that. You know, maybe some knives that you would see in video games. Customize them. Get them made as replicas, and put some custom gemstone handles on them, or, you know, add a little artistic flair to it, and hopefully it looks cool and people like it. So, but yeah, we'll come back whenever these are all dry. Lord willing, everything will be fine with them, and we'll continue on from there. All right, so we have the scales here. We have the knife here. I haven't put the scales on the knife yet to cut them to the exact size. There's a reason behind that. I'm actually going to cut the scales to try to fit the liners at the start, and then we can go from there. I'm also going to try to round them off, and not really round them off, but just kind of get that face kind of nice and good looking first, and then we have to do what is the surprise for this video. Now when I say it's a surprise, you haven't seen a knife done like this before. At least I haven't seen one, so I would assume you haven't either. So, and then the other one's going to be like that too. So what we're going to do with that is I'll show you here in a minute. So with this one, they're already glued on. This is kind of experimental with me. I haven't really done it before. So kind of looking forward to seeing what it'll look like, but this is all experimental. But I'm going to try to get this one semi done as well, and then do what we need to do for the design wise. I'll show you here in a minute. So let me go ahead and do this. I probably won't be recording it just because I want to listen to some music and concentrate on this. This is something I haven't done before, so I really want to take my time, concentrate on it, and then I'll come back with kind of like a report, tell you how it went, what I think should be done different, and then we'll move on to the next step, which is the real cool step. All right. Alright guys, so I haven't told you completely everything what we're going to do in this video. What makes this video so big is that we are actually going to inlay a name onto the stone and then put it onto the knife. I haven't really seen anything like it online, not with real gemstones at least. So this is going to be big. It's probably going to be a little difficult. I have never tried anything like this before, inlaying stone on stone. Never tried it, so we're going to see how this works out. I hope it works out really good. What we got is we got some nickel silver dust. So what we're going to do is we're going to Dremel the names out here, and then we're going to inlay the nickel silver and see how that works out. Now, put down in the comments how you think it's going to turn out. If you think it's going to turn out good, put it down there. If you think it's going to turn out bad, put it down there. And let's see how it compares to the end result and see if it pans out the way we think it is. I personally, as somebody who's doing it, I want it to turn out good. So, you know, all thumbs up from here for my point. But this is lapis. This is some really good lapis. I mean, you can see some really pretty pyrite in there. I mean, some really good pyrite in there and in there as well. And it'll look even better once it's polished up and finished. But for right now, things are looking great. I'm pretty happy so far. So let's continue this, but continue with caution, because I have a feeling that tragedy could strike at any moment. So wish me luck. Send up a little prayer for me. Let's get this started. All right, y'all. So here we go. We're going to be doing this. I am about as nervous as I can be right now, for a simple fact that I've never done this. So I could royally screw this up, or I could do really well and it turn out good. Let me address some of my concerns before I do this. I got some of these bits, and I have used them to drill holes into stones to wrap them for, make them to where they can wrap for my wife. I haven't done one of lapis, and I haven't done one of lapis this good quality. I mean, this is some pretty lapis. So my concerns is that I slip, I dig into the stone, I mess that up. Another concern I got is we crack the stone in some way. It gets a little too hot without me noticing, and we crack the stone. That's pretty much our two big concerns. Everything else can probably be handled pretty well as is. So to start this off, I feel like I probably need to start small and work big. And if that's the case, so I need to work fine and then kind of gradually move my way up. If that's the case, I might use this right here. I don't know if that's the case, I might use this right here. So it looks like I can kind of get a good work on that. So we got our water here. I'm going to be dipping it in here and then using it periodically to try to get everything to stay cool so we don't destroy anything, especially the stone. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but heat can absolutely destroy a stone, and we absolutely do not want to do that. So let's do this. I have a love-hate thing when it comes to drilling holes in the stones, so this is probably going to be pretty rare for me to do the actual dremeling, but I wanted to try it. I definitely want to do it. I'm just a little nervous. So wish me luck. Hopefully things go well. If not, you'll definitely hear about it from me. Probably in more colorful language than what I'm used to. But I try to be I try to be a good Christian man and not cuss so hard. If I do, please forgive me. I am only human, and I have high hopes for this. I'm using a Dremel for this, and one of the flex hose attachments. So hopefully this turns out well. Everybody, wish me luck. So far, so good. I got the little, up on the J there, so it's better than nothing. I'm trying to find my 10 times magnifying glasses. Times like these are very useful. Oh, they're right here. Okay. Much more useful. All right. Give this a little more of a break, don't let it overheat. But we do got it going. I think I can kind of get one of these bigger bits and kind of smoothen those edges out some. That's what I'll probably do with the little rounder bit here and a little bit once I kind of get my lines in there. I don't need it to go super deep, just deep enough. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, so I got some things to clean up. I know that much. So that's why I'm going to look for a more rounded head. That's what she said. A more rounded head. Try to clean this up. Let's see if we can't get that at least a little smooth out in there, you know? Alright. So I'm going to try to give these a quick little bath. Now that all that markers off, I don't have to worry about really wiping it off so much. Now I will say that the gem really turned out a lot better. It's probably because I started catching my groove in there. So we'll see. I'm gonna dip this in there. I'll pull off a little bit. Alright, so we're gonna go back to Jeff first. So as I'm getting deeper, I see that there's kind of like these little pot marks where I left as I'm like moving with it. We'll see. We'll see. Doesn't look amazing, but I have a feeling that when it gets filled in, it may look quite a lot better. Or at least I'm hoping. Alright, so now we got that. I'm going to have to dig in a little deeper. I'm going to need a different drill bit head. It's going to look a little rough. Gems is turning out pretty good though. But yeah, it looks a little rough right now, but we will get there. I have pretty much demolished this head on this daggum bit. That's because this thing's got, you know, one speed, balls ass open. So we're just gonna try to get it deeper so that way we can get more material in there. So that way if we have to cut past some of this, we don't have to cut too far past. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take these in and try to inlay them with dust and glue them. I do not know how this will turn out. I do not even know if it will look good. I'm going to try though. Jen's looks a lot better than Jeff's, but we'll see. We'll try it. Alright, let's go inside. Alright, so we're back inside the house. I am not super thrilled with how this turned out. I think Jeff's is a little, you know what I mean, a little wobbly. That's probably because I'm using a Dremel that's only got one speed setting and subpar bits. I mean, you saw one of them basically just melted when I was using it. So we'll see what we can still do, but I do not in any way feel like this was a bad first try at something. So let's get some of that silver nickel powder. I'm hoping that maybe as a recut this will look a little better. Maybe a small hope, but a hope. And while I hope, or while I breathe, I hope. We're going to let that soak in and dry. And we'll do Jen's next. Now, if this doesn't work, and I feel like this is, you know, way worse than what I expected, which, I mean, it very well could. Thank God it's a gift, right? But, this turns out way worse than I expected. Then please Don't hold it against me. It is quite literally my first shot at this. But I wanted you guys to be here for it. That way you can kind of see maybe what I did wrong. Maybe you could do something better in the future. Or, you know, if anything, it's just, hey, look, we're experimenting. We're seeing what we can do. And it's just fun to experiment sometimes to see what you can get done. Alright, here's my glue boost that I definitely want to spray. Alright, so there's Jen's. And there's Jeff's. But yeah, y'all tell me what you think down below. I don't know. I like things to be almost perfect. And I did not do that with this one. I can tell you that much right now. So I may be down in the dumps after this. Who knows? But nothing ventured, nothing gained. And we definitely ventured on this one. So let's see what we can get done. So we can gain from it. If anything, we can gain knowledge, right? And that's pretty important. So Jen's is looking pretty good. Jeff's, that's the one I'm really like, ugh, I feel terrible about. We'll get some of this leftover silver nickel powder back into its container. And then we'll carry on, I think. With the 1-speed Dremel, some bad bits. I don't think I did terrible. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing ever. But it's, I mean, it's definitely not good handwriting if I say so. You know, you never know. Maybe Jeff might be like, yeah, not great handwriting. So, yeah. We'll see you hopefully when it's done. Or, no, we'll see you back out inside the shop to cut and polish on some of it. All right, we'll see you there. Alright, so now that we're back out here, what we're going to do is we're going to cut and polish on these. Try to get them as prettied up as we can and see what we can do with that. We're really hoping for the best, so keep your fingers crossed and we'll see you once that's done. So we got it here. I'm not really happy with the way the name turned out. It looks, well, it looks like bad handwriting, but it's the best I can do. Again, I'm using a 1-speed Dremel, and the bit started melting on me halfway through, even though, you know, we kept putting water on it, giving it a break and everything like that. So, oh well. But we're going to go ahead and glue the other side on. I don't think there's much we can do about what we've experienced with that. So we do have to cut some of this away, if you can see that. So we will have to shorten up that handle some, cut it away. But I had a feeling we'd have to. So it's not such a big deal. We can always take away a little bit of real estate. Your handle still fit on it. Happy little bonding agent, by the way. My wife requires that to be said every time this shows up on film, that we say it's a happy little bonding agent. I'll probably forget, and then I'll probably get told that I need to remember that this bonding agent is indeed happy and little, and indeed is a bonding agent. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, I'm going to put it here, Try to line it up with the top as best as possible. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to grind that back end down. But that's okay. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. We'll come back and then we'll take this back out to the shop. Grind it down to fit perfectly. And then we'll bring it back into the house and do a final polish on it. And same thing with this one here. Do a final polish on it. Get it as pretty as we can. Then we'll call it, or we'll show you the final result. So we're going to take this out there and we're going to grind it down to match the top part of the handle. Why it's so far up is because during cutting I found that the piece of gemstone was cracked about a quarter of a way through. So we want to make sure that it matches all the way. After that, we will finish grinding the sides, everything like that. I'll bring it back in so y'all can see it. And then we're going to try to hit it up with some Zam to see if we can't get a more lustrous polish on there. So let's go ahead and get this done. And hopefully things will turn out a little better. Alright, so let's talk about what we kind of learned from this. I learned that to do this better, I will need a Dremel that is more than just one speed, and that is slower than what I've been using. Wet the bits more often so they don't melt. Probably get some better bits, because I noticed with that round one, as soon as I put it to stone, all the diamonds come off of that bit. So it really did not cut like it should have, and that would have probably straightened these letters out a little bit better. So get the appropriate tools for the appropriate job is what I would say is probably the best thing that we've learned from this experiment. I think another thing we've learned is that this can be done. It's not impossible to do, and if we're looking at just what we set out to do, which is to engrave a name into a stone and then inlay material to actually make it pop out, then yeah, we can do it. And for a knife, we can do it and we can make it look good. So I would say today's experiment was successful. There's some things I would like to improve on. It is very much time consuming, but if you're not going to charge for this, you're just having fun, you're just wanting to see if you can do it, I think it's a fun experiment. But you got to be willing to lose the stone in the process. That's something I kept in mind this whole time. As I said, if the stone busts, or if I screw it up so bad that we can't use it, that's just something I'm going to have to be okay with. But I think that we proved that this experiment can be done. I think we proved that it is. It can turn out to be something really cool. Jess is really cool, but I think Jen's is probably the better of the two, if I'm being honest. I mean, this is just, chef's kiss right there out of the two. So I'm pretty excited. This is definitely going to be something we're going to do in the future. If you have any suggestions, put them down in the comments below. That's what I want to hear. You got maybe some suggestions for some future bits that we could use to help with the dremeling. Maybe a future flex shaft or Dremel, that we need to look into. So one of the things I really wanted to make clear is that with this is an experiment, but it's an experiment that we're all participating in. I mean, we're all, we're just as curious as you are about the turnout on this thing whenever it happens. But I would definitely say that this, as far as what we set out to do, is a success. Now, I would like to have cleaner letters. We'll get there eventually. That's not a big deal. We will get there eventually, and this is a gift. I also noticed that these letters kind of look like the Goosebumps letters, so it's kind of like you failed successfully, you know what I mean? Even though we didn't fail, but you get where I'm coming from. on the letters part. I really kind of am starting to dig this Goosebumps vibe to the letters. But I think if we're just looking at crisp and cleanness, I think Jen's probably takes it by a country mile. So I'd like to take this time to also ask you to like and subscribe. We're going to be doing more stuff like this. We're actually going to be doing some really crazy stuff here in the future that's in this same kind of vein, but a little different. And I can't wait for y'all to see it, and I can't wait for us to do it. So, hang with us, subscribe, become part of the family. We're going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We're also going to be cutting regular old cabochons too. We're also going to be doing regular old knives as well. It's not, it doesn't have to be, this big grandiose thing every time. I even got some buck knives that we're going to go ahead and start working on again. And I got a case knife as well that we'll start working on. And these will just be regular old knives, nothing grandiose, special about them. But yeah, like and subscribe. It's going to really help us out. Also share. The more people we can get to subscribe to us, the better. To be honest, I didn't think we'd get to 400 subscribers as fast as we did. It's amazing. But to be honest, the bigger we can get, the more cool stuff we can do, So we're really looking forward to getting a little bigger and being able to branch out and show some more cool experiments. We got some stuff lined up. I don't want to spoil them by telling you out loud, but we do have some pretty cool ones lined up. We got some pretty cool ideas. So share. Be sure to share. All right. Well, thank you. And let's get back to the video.